Hey there, so let's check this implementation. Let's have a look at the network tab. We'll look at that as the source of truth rather than using any kind of debugger. We'll ignore tag assistant. And again, the network tab is a good source of truth because it shows what the response is between a website and an endpoint. So if it shows that the website is sending something to an endpoint and then the endpoint is kind of giving a ping back, that is a 200 response. If it shows that the website is sending something to the endpoint and then the endpoint is keeping it, that is a 204 response. If you get a 304, you're getting a redirect. You want to look for a 200 or a 204 response. So let's go over here. So what I did was I just right-clicked the website, clicked on inspect, and then I'm going to go to network here. And then I'm going to filter for the events that I care about in this case. So these are various GA4 events. If you look at Google Analytics, we've got here for, I'm going to be checking remarketing in this case. So I've got an event here. Have a look at this. I'm saying all pages, or it's firing on every one of these events. This is actually kind of cool. I'm saying a custom event, use regex matching. And then I'm saying here, view item or view item list or add to cart. That line, that's an or symbol, or remove from cart or view cart or begin checkout or add payment info, add shipping info or purchase. So I'm going to check the network tab for a few of these. Let's start with view item. This is actually kind of handy because it consolidates it all in one trigger. Using the or, it'll just say fire all of this data here, event name, event value, and then remarketing items. Okay, when we're sending these events, right, you can see in accordance with the Google Ads remarketing docs, this is how they want it set up. Let's see if we can find, here it is, dynamic remarketing. Right here. So the event, right? So this is what we're pushing in the website. So let's go to an item page. Here's the data layer. We're saying e-commerce items. So the event, add to cart, value, items. Let's see if it says that. So value is here. Event is view item. So again, event, in our case, view item. Event, view item. And then you've got the items array. Well, I showed you value already, didn't I? Yeah, value, here it is. Right, documentation, value, there it is. Items array. So the items array needs to contain the ID, and then the Google business vertical needs to be retail. So here's the items array. So we're passing a lot more than just what it requires. We're doing a little bit more than the bare minimum here. So the price, and then the ID is perfectly formatted for the ID in Google Merchant Center, and then the quantity. Okay, own Google Business Vertical Retail. That is coming through to the tag, and we're doing that in GTM, so it's not set here. Okay, so now let's see if it's being sent to a remarketing tag. So we'll type in the network tab, we'll type in view item. So again, we've got a lot of 200 responses. That's a good sign. So if we click on one of them, then go to payload. Yes, this is what we want. There's a value, 14,499. And then we've got event, view item, event, in our case, view item. There it is, Google Business Vertical Retail. So that's what they want. I'm passing that to Google Ads. We can see that in the network tab. We've got ID, and then there's our ID, which matches the Merchant Center. Okay, so now we go add to cart. Good. So now I can filter for add to cart. Or is this view cart? Add to cart should have also fired. Yeah, so there's view cart because that's the event we're on right now. Okay, there we go. Event view cart, Google Business Vertical Retail. ID is right here. Where's our value? Here's our value. Okay. Add to cart. How do we get that to fire? I'm curious about that one. So what I'll do is I'll hit preserve log, and then I'll just type in add to cart. Oops. There it is. Add to cart. So if you hit preserve log, then it doesn't go away. So that's an interesting one and very useful to click so that you can do better debugging. Event, add to cart, right? So there is another response. Okay, 200 response. Add to cart, Google Business Vertical Retail, ID. Good. Now let's proceed. Checkout. So this should be begin checkout. So this is here, event begin checkout, Google Business Vertical, ID. Okay, retail ID, there it is in the Merchant Center. Email. Okay. I don't have enough information to go forward, but I'm going to infer that everything is okay. Since if we're getting a begin checkout over here on the checkout page, everything else will be fine as well. Okay, but this is a good way to check things, and this is looking good. So 2 things I showed you here. This is pretty cool. So you've got this cool event for remarketing. I've seen a bunch of people online actually use this. So instead of creating a separate trigger for all of these, hopefully you can see this. Here, for all of these. View item, all, yada, yada, yada. You're using this OR pipe symbol to say it could be any one of these. And if any one of these fire, then send the event that fired, which is these ones, and send ecommerce.value, and then format it such that it looks like this. Okay, let's check ecommerce.value. Right, so we can go triggers, or sorry, variables. Let's have a look at ecommerce.value. Ecommerce.value, and we can see whether this is correct. If we go back to the site, let's go over here, and then let's look at inspect, console, click on value over here, and click on copy property path. Let's just put it, let's put in Notepad. I'll show you. There you go, ecommerce.value. So since we want to pull that from the data layer, I'm pulling it correctly because I'm echoing ecommerce.value here. That's why value is being sent to the network call that I showed you when we were filtering for view item, for begin checkout, and add to cart, and all of those. So all of that will be sent, as you saw from the 200 response in the network tab, correctly to Google Ads. So nothing to worry about there. And like I said, the best way to check this stuff is by using the network tab. So again, two things I showed you, that really cool trigger, right? Now I can't find it. Really cool trigger, which is this one here, all remarketing events. I'll put this in the comments so you can make a trigger like this too. But you're just going to go to custom event, you're going to go to event name, and you're going to copy and paste all of these events, and then you're going to click on use regex matching. This is a good way to consolidate all of this. Would have been, I guess, like maybe 10 different triggers. We've consolidated into one trigger. And it's a good way to kind of have an efficient container. And then I also showed you a really good way to debug, which is using this network tab. Okay, add to cart, or I guess view cart, in this case, view cart. And I showed you the preserve log too, which shows you the network requests from previous page loads. So that's very useful. Okay, thanks very much, and hopefully you got something out of this. Have a good one. Bye-bye.